One of the most mysterious characters within the Star Wars sequel trilogy is, of course, Supreme Leader Snoke, that was first introduced by director J.J. Abrams in The Force Awakens, that will have bigger revelations and explanations in Star Wars Episode 9 by J.J. himself and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, I think that one of the main reasons as to why Snoke really grew on me as a character, and I'm sure some of you guys out there would agree, is because there was so much mystery behind the character. A lot of fans were really trying to figure out exactly, where he came from, how he rose to power, how he created the First Order, and thankfully a lot of this will be explained in Episode 9. Even Vanity Fair confirmed that the origins of the First Order will be revealed in Episode 9, and on top of this and aside from that, there will be elements of Snoke in The Rise of Skywalker. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting and intriguing for Episode 9. Now, specifically, a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren, where it's described that they are inside of Supreme Leader Snoke's vault. That is described to be just as big as his throne room, seen in Episode 8, however very dark and full of metallic walls and control panels, with artifacts and relics stored throughout the room. It's said that the vault of Snoke, where the Knights of Ren are wearing flashlights of sorts on their helmets, it's said that they eventually come across what is said to be a statue of Darth Plagueis, where the hands of the Plagueis statue are cupped and holding a holocron. The statue of Plagueis is said to be hidden, only revealing the bottom portion of his face, where there is also a staff that rests against the statue in the form of a sculpture. The sculpture has said to have been around for decades, even years before the events of The Phantom Menace, that Snoke had kept for himself in secret. It's said to be the original sculpture of Plagueis, as there are others around the galaxy that are considered to be duplicates. The sculpture was said to be created by Sith renovators. The statue itself is said to radiate a dark side energy that Snoke had once used in order to find guidance during his quests. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, in case you guys did not know, Episode 9 is going to find a lot of ways in order to connect itself to the prequel trilogy, and specifically, and most of all, that of course being Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the fan favorite of the prequel trilogy. Now, when we think about Episode 9, this really is the culmination of the Skywalker saga. It's all about really using this movie as a sequel to the past 8 Star Wars movies that come before it, and not just treating it as a sequel to that of The Last Jedi, which is good. Now, as a fact, involving Snoke and Darth Plagueis and everybody around those lines that will be involved in the movie in some way, shape, or form, this is most definitely JJ's way of really interconnecting this movie with the prequel trilogy era. I want to go over the statue. Now, the statue was described to be developed by Sith renovators. Now, that's a first, that I've actually heard about the Sith renovators. Haven't really heard about them in the EU and or canon material, so this seems to be something that was created by Disney and Lucasfilm, and I'm sure that we're going to learn more about them in the official visual dictionary of The Rise of Skywalker that should be released just around the release of Episode 9. So, what's really interesting about this is that Snoke kept this hidden away inside of his vault, which by the way is located within the abandoned First Order headquarters, which most likely is going to play a role in the storytelling of the origins of the First Order, as confirmed by Vanity Fair, that the origins of the First Order will be explored in Episode 9. So, what's really interesting about all of this is that the Snoke statue is said to be holding a holocron in his hands. Now, mind you, this is a statue holding an actual holocron. Is this the holocron of Darth Plagueis, or is this a holocron that once belonged to somebody else? That's a big question open on the table for discussion. Not to also mention that he's also holding a staff next to him. So the staff next to him is said to be embedded into the ground and is considered to be a sculpture of what was once his actual spear and or staff or whatever have you. Now, what I like about this is that this is once again diving into Sith lore. This statue is said to radiate a dark side energy that Snoke actually used during his meditation sessions in order to find guidance during his quests. So, once again, alright, what's the connection here between both Snoke, Palpatine, and Plagueis? What's really going on in the sequels, the originals, and the prequels? Now, we do know that Andy Serkis confirmed about a year ago, you guys may recall, that he said that Snoke is close to 1,000 years old, give or take 850 to 900 years old, give or take. So, what's really interesting about this is that we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are planning to create a new Star Wars trilogy based within the Old Republic that would be set hundreds of years before the events of the prequel trilogy. And that really does open a big possibility of throwing in Supreme Leader Snoke as a character in some way, shape, or form during those events. But I digress. What I like about this the most is that we do get to see the connection between this and the prequel trilogy era. And I think that this is a very big and smart move by JJ and Chris Terrio in order to visually show the fans exactly what Darth Plagueis looks like, as opposed to the EU version of that character. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys later.